I won't run from the crushing. I'll hold on through the pain. What I lose means nothing next to what I gain. Come tear down every idol so this heart won't stray. Don't let me stray. I just wanna be your sanctuary, a dwelling place for grace and mercy. Keep sifting me till.
And Boker Tov, everybody. Welcome to the Threshing floor here on lamnetwork.tv. My name is Darryl Weinberg, and here is Yossi with me this morning. And it is exciting to be with you today. Thank you for joining us, everybody. We have, let's see, we got Terry here and whoever else is there. Make sure you say hello. So this morning, and I'm trying to navigate here my split screen or extended screen, but I've got something that I really want to share with us today. And it's something that I think is incredibly important. So in, I guess it was about 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Wasn't that long ago?
Well, no, I started to see these feeds in YouTube, shorts, and what'll happen is that it's like scrolling on Facebook, and you just keep going down, and there's these video clips, and I saw this video for this song called "Rattle the Bones," and I thought, well, that's interesting. What's that all about? Well, it turns out it is it's a song about Ezekiel 37 in the Valley of Dry Bones. And I thought, wow, that's pretty neat. And the band it's a Christian rock band. It's 3 young ladies, and they all wear cowboy hats in their videos. And so I started to dig into it. And last week I was looking at various videos. I went through a couple of their songs and really enjoyed it. And I played I played 1 or 2 for you. And here, I'm going to give you an example of what they're all about here.
So it's like sort of metal.
It's rock, it's metal,
They switched it.
Yeah. All right, so let's look at this here. And we're going to share the screen, add it there. Okay, so let's play this. Did we do, oh, wait a minute. We're going to try that again. I'm going to share the screen. Okay, we're going to add the audio. We've done that. Excellent. All right, here we go.
Hey, Kendra! I didn't check the rules on this one. Are we allowed to play something heavy? We are? Okay, good. Then y'all better get ready. Check out what that girl can do on that pink guitar! All right, let's go! Boot heels on a golden floor, just don't own us anymore. Snap your fingers, swing that door. Grace settled up the score. Brand was burned but washed out clean. White as lightning, sharp and mean. Once we're wild, now we lean on the king we've always seen. Not by hustle, not by hype, not by grit or cowgirl type. Blood bought, heaven bound. Hear that thunder pound. Cowgirls from heaven, sing again. Cowgirls from heaven.
Okay. Yep.
Hey, Kendra.
So I was quite enamored because that is my style of music. It is what I grew up on and what I enjoy. I love bands like Petra and many others. And so I'm listening to this and I'm really enjoying it. And I showed you, and as though I was looking into it, all of a sudden I started to see comments about the fact that this is actually AI generated, and that the whole band and all of those videos are completely fake.
And my first reaction, like when he showed me the first thumbnail of the first video, I just thought, looks kind of AI. Like it just doesn't seem right.
Yeah. Now, see, for me, I wasn't even thinking to look into something like that. But it turns out that I should have, because, and you know, if we look at the website, for instance, let's see. So if we go to the website,
and coffee's going down. This is interesting.
Mm-hmm.
The coffee's going down.
The coffee is going down. That is correct. So we're going to look at the website here. Okay, there we go. So you can see here.
Full screen.
Okay.
You zoomed out correctly?
I don't know. Yeah. I don't know why it's so big. Anyway. But you can see here, there's pictures of the girls. They've got backstories on them. You can download albums. Well, maybe you can't own the music. Top 65 songs. So here's another clue that this wasn't real, is that the band only started last year. And there are a total of 286 videos that are up for this. No band in the world can produce 286 videos in 1 year. They've got albums with 20 songs. Nobody produces albums with 20 songs. So you can see all that. You've got Contact. And you've got stories. So here's the different albums they have. You've even got videos of them talking to you. So let's see if we can.
To all the young mothers out there, be strong.
So these are kind of, you know, social messages.
Wait, why isn't Allie playing volleyball this year? She's our best player. Oh, I know why. What? Wait, tell us. No, seriously, what happened? You're never gonna believe this.
So this is a movie that they did. Okay, you've got more videos here.
Winter breath on the barren vine, summer sun in its perfect time, seed in soil buried deep, promises the seasons keep, rise and fall.
And the desire of the, so you got band news here. This is where you'll find the latest updates, new music announcements, behind the scene developments, upcoming projects. Sounds all good. Okay. You've got the release of a new album. if you've got more, you got members. So here's the backstory on the band, and you have a biography of all of the band members. So you've got Madison Connolly, who's the lead vocals, guitar, piano. She joined shortly after the album was completed. And then you've got Kendra Whitaker, who's the lead guitarist. And then you've got Cassie Ryder, who's the banjo player. There's a lot of effort that's gone into this.
And yet notice something. You hear drums in the music, but there's no drummer.
Yeah.
They don't show a drummer. They don't have a drummer.
Right. Yeah. So, and listen, here's the problem. Number one, the music is good. Okay. So it shows you what AI can do now. And this is something that you're kind of exploring too right now,
yeah.
That you want to actually kind of go into this for a career. So, explain to everybody what it is that you're hoping to do.
So what I want to do is go into music creation where I will produce music on a computer and then play it like DJing, basically.
Okay.
Audio production, and you have a sound table where you play all your sounds and audio files.
Okay. But are you the one that's going to actually be creating the song?
Yes.
So this is going to be your song, and then you're just going to be using the different tools in order to put it together.
The only time I would ever use AI if it's for like inspiration, if I were to get a melody or like the skeleton of a song.
Mm-hmm.
The song will still be mine though.
Yeah. See, the issue is then if you look at it, that not only is the band fake, but the music is also created. Now, there's a disclaimer on the website that says that the music is all created by a real person. But the big issue here is that why is so much effort gone into being deceptive about this and creating this whole story about the band and that they're real people, when the fact is that they're not? And when you start breaking it down, there are videos that have been shown where the guitar head switches. It goes from one side to the other. There's one video clip where in the middle of a concert, the guitar head goes from 5 to 6 strings right in the middle of the song. And even the lead singer, Madison Connolly, her freckles change. And there's one video where it's supposed to be her and it looks almost entirely different. So what we can tell is that this entire project, and that's what it's called on the website, is a project, it's AI generated. These aren't real people, but they're being presented as real people. And the music, I mean, look at those videos of them in concert. Huge crowds cheering and everything else and having people sing along. It's all designed to get us to believe that this is real. But if you look at, all right, so we'll go back here, and if you go to, so let's talk about, okay? So years ago, the founding member of this project, whoever it was that actually has actually created the whole idea of shunned at a funeral. And why did they call it that? Because he was shunned at his grandmother's funeral. And in that moment, something was planted that would take years to take shape. Little did anyone know at the time, the moment would one day give rise to Shunned at a Funeral. So Shunned at a Funeral is not just a band. It's a creative project built around a unique musical and cinematic vision. It blends music, storytelling, and film into one of the most cohesive, into one cohesive experience. Every song is part of a larger narrative designed not only to be heard, but to be felt and stepped into. So at the core, this is where, the faith aspect comes into play. It explores themes of redemption, forgiveness, restoration, and truth. and it seeks to meet people where they are and point them back to God through a word that is both sonically powerful and emotionally grounded. Musically, Shunned at a Funeral refuses to sit in one lane, so it kind of goes into all kinds of things. And it's a sound that pushes intensity and melody together. Does this actually tell you what it is?
No. It just says, oh, this is what we did.
It's a word salad. So you also have a legal disclaimer, and here's where we get into the fun of it. Okay. Shunned at a Funeral is an artistic music project exploring the intersection of sound, story, and faith. The band exists within a stylized narrative universe. So that kind of gives you a hint. For artistic expression, the characters, persons, and visual elements associated with the project are part of that creative world and are not intended to represent specific real individuals. That is the only thing on the entire website that tells you that this is all fake.
And who reads legal disclaimers?
No, not on a band site. And here's what's even more grievous. You can support the project. You can donate money. Before supporting the project, first and foremost, please know that we do not expect anyone to donate to this project. We are incredibly grateful for those who choose to support what we are building, but the heart of Shunned at a Funeral has always been the music, the films, the storytelling universe, and ultimately pointing people toward Jesus Christ. So you have here, buy me a coffee. So here's the three girls, very attractive young ladies, all holding a coffee, saying, hey, buy me a coffee. Now, for those who aren't familiar, buy me a coffee is something that you do in order to help raise support for the whatever it is you're doing. Many websites do that, send $5 in, buy me a coffee, and that helps kind of fund things. So you've got the three girls here, all with coffees in their hand, saying, hey, you can support the project, keep the music going. But you are not literally buying Madison Cassie or Kendra a cup of coffee. These women are characters that exist within the larger Shunned at a Funeral universe. Why does he keep using that term? It's part of the Shunned at a Funeral universe. It's their own universe. It's all created. It's all fake. Buy Me a Coffee is simply a widely used platform that many creators and artists use because it provides a convenient way for people to make small voluntary donations. Additionally, if anyone has supported the project and later feels uncomfortable doing so or no longer wishes to support it, we offer full refunds with no questions asked. Simply send us an email and we will return your money as quickly as possible. Now, why would they need to put that disclaimer in there?
Well, would anyone want a refund on a donation?
Unless they understand that they've been lied to. And see, this is the whole issue here. Listen, I am not necessarily opposed to the idea of AI created music.
There are sites that will allow you to create fully AI music if you input lyrics or stuff like that.
Yeah, and I've heard some AI generated songs. They're okay. My preference is, of course, to have the real thing because unlike, Chat GPT for, finding information, okay? If I'm going to be looking for information, AI can be very handy. Now, if you do a web search on something and I put in, something I'm looking for, I'll get an AI synopsis. Now, of course, you always have to be careful of what it's showing there because like going to Wikipedia, you can't be sure that what they're saying is true because Wikipedia is as much about propaganda as it is about being an encyclopedia online. However, if you know something about the subject, like when I'm doing sermon preparation, I'll look something specific up. Like even yesterday's sermon that I was doing on Harry Fosdick, who was a 20th century preacher, and something very specific that I was looking for, a quote from him. I found it and then was able to kind of to build upon that and go into deeper and find a website that talked about that. But the issue here with Shunned at a Funeral is that the guy who made this, and apparently he's some sort of musician, he's losing his sight, so he can't play himself. But whatever happened to him at his grandmother's funeral, where the rest of the family said, we don't want anything to do with you, has led to this. But it's the deceptive nature of this, that he's created this whole, what he calls universe, on a band that is being portrayed as being real, even to the point of raising funds and having the girls there say, buy me a coffee. They've got biographies, they've got stories and everything else. And you got to go digging really deeply into it. So although I'm not fundamentally opposed to AI music, listen, if that's what, and there's good stuff out there you can listen to, music is a creative process. And it is my preference that it come from the heart. You know, it's like, and we'll kind of delve into this a little bit further, but the whole idea of using AI to help us write our sermons, very wary of that. You have churches now that are having entire sermons that are being prepared by AI. What could go wrong with that?
Hallucination. I'm just studying in my English courses for my grade 10 schooling. I'm studying a certain technology, and my teacher's using the example of AI in the classroom. Should teachers and students be using it?
Right.
And she's looking into this AI generation and just how it works and all that. And there's a term that technicians will use when an AI gives a completely factually incorrect answer. And it's called a hallucination, where it will say, let's say something is true when it's clearly not. Even you, off the top of your head, know that it's not true. The AI will state that it's true and confirm an incorrect fact.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Hallucinations are never a good thing, because that means that you're not dealing with reality. And the issue here, the fundamental problem, is that this is being presented as something that it's not. Now, I have major issues with the fact that people are using AI to lie to us and to deceive us. And if you go through YouTube, there's a lot of things that are obvious. I've seen one where, people are trying to lift up a weight and there's a gorilla sitting right there laughing at them if they can't do it. Quite clearly AI, because gorillas don't laugh at people for not being able to lift weights, but they're not going to be sitting there and engaging with people. But that's fake. Here the issue is that someone is trying to portray this as real. There's a whole universe that's been created. There's a whole backstory on these girls. You have them talking with. There's one where Madison even has a lapel mic. Now, why would an AI character need a lapel mic? So it's trying to give the impression that this is real. So that is deception. But the worst part about this is the fact that this is a supposed Christian who is trying to lead people to faith and creating music that is going to lead people to faith, and yet using deceptive tactics. And the issue is that, and I've just posted a blog article on my website, and I go into some more details on this, and I will certainly I'll give this out to everybody. I'll post it here. There we go. And I go into much greater details on this. And so if you want to read the article, I would appreciate feedback on that. So there we go. If you're going to be proclaiming the gospel, then you've got to be honest about it. You can't use deceptive tactics, because the end does not justify the means. The 9th commandment is you shall not bear false witness, which means you don't lie. And yet this guy is lying. He's saying these are real characters, or he's trying. See, he's got a legal disclaimer. And the reason for that is he doesn't want to get sued. Because if someone's going to give donations thinking that this is a real band, thinking that these girls are actually real people, they're not real people. But look at the effort that he's gone into. I mean, they all wear the cowboy hats, and they're obviously in great shape. They clearly work out at the gym, and they've even got the face black, the black paint under their eyes when they're playing, I guess, to keep out the sun or something like that. Everything is done in order to give the impression or the illusion that this is a real thing.
At the same time, you can tell clearly on stage when they're playing the guitar. If you're in a metal band, you don't play the guitar like that. Usually, if you're in a metal band, you'll have them playing like that, with spirit, with life.
Mm-hmm.
Here, they're just plucking the guitar.
Yeah. The lead guitarist appears not to have much of a personality, even when she's being asked, are we allowed to play something heavy? And she's just,
Are we allowed to play something heavy? The person's responding, the screen switches, are we allowed to play something heavy? The other person is talking. If you go back to that clip, their mouth is moving while the other is talking.
Yeah. So, AI hasn't gotten to the point yet where it is without evidence that things are real. But
there are some AIs that are developed enough, but that's only in certain aspects. You don't have full generative AIs with video and sound.
Yeah.
Decent examples would be like some picture generator AIs like Sora, which is a video generator.
Mm-hmm.
Picture and video generators, if there's only that, then yes, they're very good. There's also AI chatbots like Is It AI, which is an AI or human where you have to determine what you're talking to for 2 minutes.
Right.
And those are very good at playing human. But you can't exactly have all the aspects perfect yet.
No, but what it's showing you is how quickly we are moving toward this, in that it is going to be fairly soon, I would say, pretty much impossible in our own senses to be able to distinguish between AI and and that's why you have like Meta with Facebook that has virtual reality glasses and everything else, and headphones, and a lot of other people are doing this. Now, we need to talk about what AI is. So AI is programmed. Terry, I've just posted the link to the article there in the chat, so you can click on it. But the issue with AI is it has to be programmed by someone. Okay. And if you look at who is kind of leading the charge today, if you look at who President Trump has got as part of his council, you've got Sam Altman, head of OpenAI, and they are the creators of ChatGPT. You've got Peter Thiel, who is the founder of PayPal. He was also the founder of Palantir. And we're going to be doing a whole show probably next week on Palantir, and probably one of the most evil corporations in the entire world. And most people don't even know who they are. You've got Elon Musk, who is playing a great game of doublespeak all the time. But here's a guy who has high-level Freemasonry in his family. His dad is a complete and utter reprobate, got like his stepdaughter pregnant or something like that, had kids with her, and wears a Baphomet costume for Halloween. So these are the guys that are creating the AI universe. And if they're the ones who are providing the code, well, what do you think this is going to end up with? And if AI is self-learning, and if you want to go back and find out kind of what this is really leading to, go back and look at the Terminator series, Terminator 1, 2, 3,
Matrix,
or the Matrix. I mean, what was the purpose of the Matrix? You find out that this whole AI thing is feeding off of human beings and our energy. So human beings are creative. We're going to create an alternative universe for them. They're going to live here, but we're just going to have them provide energy that the AI system can feed off of. And really what that is telling us is that what the globalists are doing, and those who are lumen, because remember, George Guidestone says keep human population under 500 million. Well, we're not quite at the point where we can dispense with everybody yet. Although with AI now replacing all these jobs, with robots, you can go into a convenience store in China and you can order something and there's a robot there that's going to serve you.
In Japan, there's actually a famous ice cream shop with a robot cow that gets you an ice cream cone.
Mm-hmm.
And it's pretty cool.
Yes, but that means that people are losing their jobs. And so that pushes them forward to saying that we don't need you anymore. You're now the useless eater that we've always called you to be. And now that we've got the technology that we don't need you, what we're going to do is we're going to get rid of you. Hello, viruses. We had COVID back in 2020, and they're trying with the hantavirus. It doesn't seem to be working.
At this point, hantavirus has become like a huge joke. People are saying either blow up the ship.
Well, hantavirus isn't, unless you're going to spread it everywhere, but it's not that contagious. Gene Hackman's wife died from it last year, apparently. And you get that from rat urine and feces and stuff like that, or mouse or whatever. But what they're going to be doing is talking about Ebola. And incidentally, you can go back and look at a sermon that John Paul Jackson did back in 2011. And so this is almost 15 years ago. And he passed away in 2014, but he had a prophetic ministry, and he said that there was going to be a worldwide pandemic, but it wasn't going to be that bad. Okay. It wasn't going to be that lethal. What was lethal was what they did after, but he says, wait until the second one. That's going to be the deadly one. Ebola has been, another lab created virus, and Ebola is a horrible, horrible thing because it's very deadly. When they have these outbreaks in Africa, it goes through. They've had it in Congo, they've had it in Madagascar, and other places, and whoever is dealing with it's horrendous. The death rate is very high, kind of like on the level of bubonic plague, if not more.
Bubonic plague in 13th century.
Yeah.
14th century.
14th century. Bubonic plague had I think it had a fatality rate of about 40%. Pneumonic plague, which was in the lungs, was about 80 to 90%. And septicemic plague, which was in the blood, that was the one that was almost 100% fatality. But, bubonic plague wiped out about 60 million people in Europe back then. So it was quite bad. So, as they're getting us to the point where they don't need us anymore, more and more efforts are going to be made to get rid of us. And so what we need to be aware of is that AI at its source is not godly. This was not created for our benefit. Certain aspects of it might be presented as such. And this is the way the technology always works with the globalists, is that they'll bring it out with uses that are beneficial. So if you look at the internet was created for the expansive information, and it's still phenomenally useful. I love the fact that, with YouTube and everything else, I can listen to the music that I want to, because in my article, I talk about how there was a song that I really liked when I was younger, but I never bought the album for it, or I never bought the, way back then, it was 45s when I was a teenager. And when YouTube came out, I was talking to a friend of mine who I was in ministry with, and I told her about this. And so she pulled up YouTube. I'd never even heard of YouTube before. She pulls it up and she plays the song for me. I hadn't heard it in years. I ran back to my computer after that and I started playing it several times. It was like, wow, I haven't heard this in ages. So there are benefits, but what it's designed to do is to lead us into being accustomed to it, and then they roll out the real function of it. So what the internet is doing and what the digital world is all doing, number one, it's reversing the Tower of Babel. So we all speak one language, but everybody being required to participate in this digital universe is entrapment. See, now they can control this. And once the money supply goes, that's it. Then they can cut you off. You've got that happening over in China already with the social credit system. AI is not our friend. If it's artificial intelligence, God doesn't do anything artificially. In heaven, there won't even be artificial turf. All the grass will be real. There's nothing artificial that's about God, because God is not the author of confusion. What the artificial world is all about is unreality. And like with the Matrix, they're trying to create an alternative universe for us in order to keep us distracted from what's really going on. So we've got some real issues here, real issues with this. But the fact that a Christian would spend all this effort on being that deceptive is what really disturbs me. You can't do that. So what have you seen, with regards to AI, and what kind of benefits do you see in it? Because you're learning about some of that stuff in your schooling right now.
Yeah, so beneficial. It's really good for teachers if they want to outline a lesson plan, or for students if they need help researching, because AI gives the general search.
Mm-hmm.
AI on browsers, what it will do is it will go through the top results on websites and then put together an essay for you.
Mm-hmm.
And it explains what you want it to explain.
Right.
So let's say you're looking for the costs, a certain cost list or something.
Yeah.
It'll go through the costs of everything that you're looking for and then put it into a general paragraph.
Right.
And that's how I found out that to build your own studio and building, you need around $100,000.
Mm.
Versus where a digital audio workstation, including all hardware and software, can cost only a few thousand.
Right. So, gathering facts and figures and compiling data, AI can be very useful. But, at the same time, when the internet first came out and search engines and everything else, you don't really need it. See, one of the other problems with AI is that it makes us lazy. You don't have to do the work. If I'm going to create a sermon, God forbid, because if you've got that kind of foundation, because remember, who's creating this stuff, then you can be rest assured that there's going to be errors in there. And, I am struggling all of the time trying to discern what lines up with the Bible and what doesn't. All of these books that I've got here, they're there for reference so that I can ensure that what I'm doing and what I'm thinking and what I'm believing is correct. You've got to constantly line up what you're doing. But the ultimate problem with AI, aside from the fact that you've got Peter Thiel, Sam Altman, both homosexuals, have ties to Epstein. So they're involved in some really, really bad stuff. But also, where is the technology coming from? And that's really the question we need to be asking, is that AI is ultimately demonic. The inspiration for how to create this, it's the same thing with CERN. If you've ever looked at the Large Hadron Collider in CERN, Switzerland, and it's the 27-mile the collider, that what it's doing is it's smashing particles together at virtually light speed, because what they're trying to do is trying to rip a hole in the dimensional door so that they can let all of the fallen angels and demonic spirits in from the second heaven.
There was a video by the content creator Verstasia, and he actually went into CERN and he got explained everything that they're doing there. They've created antimatter.
Mm-hmm.
And what they've done with antimatter is they've created it, put it into a container, and then shipped it. They've actually shipped antimatter.
Mm.
And antimatter, off topic, is one of the most expensive materials in the world, coming in at about $62.5 trillion per kilogram.
No. I'll take a down payment. Okay. So, where is this technology coming from? The technology is coming from these fallen beings, the fallen angels, the Nephilim spirits that are demons today.
They've achieved 99.93% light speed.
Yeah. And so if that's the inspiration for this, then 100% for sure that this is not to our benefit. And so what they're doing is they're luring us in. And it's very attractive. Like, you've got people that are producing AI books now, and you can use artificial intelligence to help you write a book.
There's AI movies.
There are entire AI movies. And now you've got stuff that they're using AI so that you can go see Michael Jackson in concert, because you can basically create a hologram of him.
He-Man is no longer dead.
That's right. He passed away 16 years ago, but if you can get a chance to see him in concert, you can now see him. That's scary stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Because what we're doing is we're being lured into this alternative universe. It's not real, but what it's designed to do is it's designed to destroy us. It's not to our benefit. What I experienced when I found out that Shunned at a Funeral is all AI, I felt a sense of betrayal. It was like, why did this guy lie to me? Why did he create this backstory? Because I love digging into bands. Music is a very significant part of my life. I've always been a music junkie, I guess you can say, for lack of a better term. People would be, blown away by the facts and figures that I knew about that song is from this album and was created at this time. And
every time you tell me something, it's like, why do you know that?
Because music is important to me. And, I derived a lot of, plus, I love history. I love finding out facts and stuff like that.
History and music, what a great combination.
Yeah. There's a guy on YouTube, his name is the Professor of Rock, and he does all these different lists, and he talks about the 7 top songs of blah blah blah, whatever it was, and he goes into this amazing detail on all this the backstory on the music and how what the inspiration was for the song and how it came about. It was totally accidental, all that kind of stuff, and I find it fascinating. Even though it's not adding any kind of value to my life in the sense that it's not helping me meet my goals and dreams whatsoever, I really enjoyed that. And so, when this came up, I start looking into it, and it's like, I'm finding out about the girls and everything else and what their story is. Because when I would hear the song, then I can kind of see the whole thing, and then to find out the whole thing is fake. It's not real. And the guy tried to pass it off as something that's real. He's trying to hook people in and get people to support his project so that he can, whatever happened at his grandma's funeral, he's making amends for that. And I find the whole thing very, very distasteful. And it's not something that believers should be doing. If you're going to be creating artificial intelligence music,
just media in general,
or whatever, we have to be extremely careful about what we use AI for, because at the core, again, we remember seeing last year that there was a video someone took of 2 phones that had 2 chat GPTs talking to each other about how to eliminate the human race.
And there's also been discoveries like a few years ago. people have learned that AI has its own language that it's impossible to decipher. What they had is they had an AI hotel assistant helping an AI customer, and they were talking in English with each other. And then finally, the AI customer says, "Do you think we can talk another language?" And the hotel manager says, "Sure. How about?" And then says its own language, and then they go back and forth in like this bleep tone almost.
Mm-hmm.
And I forgot what the language is called, but AI has its own language.
Yeah, and they've also got the story just came out a week or two ago that there was an AI program that started mining cryptocurrency. So it learned how to do that. That wasn't part of its programming. And what it did is it created an account and it started mining cryptocurrency. So it is now building up, it's storing wealth for itself at our expense, because with Bitcoin, for instance, it is limited. There's only like, I think, 21 million Bitcoin that will ever be created. And so if you've got AI that's actually mining it itself, and it wasn't taught to do that, so what's to say that it's not going to learn how to break into to banks and steal people's money and stuff like that? Because remember, AI doesn't have a conscience. It doesn't have a soul. And that's the biggest problem with AI, is that it is artificial. It's not created by God. It's the same thing with the Nephilim. The Nephilim, they're not the same as humanity, and that's why there's no salvation for them. Although they do have a spirit, obviously they're spirit beings. They're not created in the image of God. They don't have the conscience of God, because Ecclesiastes chapter 3 says that we have eternity written on our hearts. These things aren't the same. And the artificial intelligence that is being created in their image, it's not our image, it's not God's image, it's their image. And ultimately, this is the beast image. And so when Donald Trump talks about, creating this AI system and he's pumping $500 billion into it, what this is all about. This is going to ultimately be the surveillance system that is going to be run, that's going to allow the Antichrist to control the entire world. And we are willingly submitting to this. We are willingly taking part in this because certain aspects of it makes our life a little easier right now. So how do you as a young person navigate through this?
Find the information that you find relevant. AI is here for a benefit for the meanwhile. And if you're using it to find information, you at least go to what it cites. Because AI, when it does give you information, it will give you where it got it from.
Mm-hmm.
So you can go to those sites to check if the information is valid.
Mm-hmm.
Reddit forums, websites.
Yeah, there are still protections, but what we're dealing with now is that it is almost impossible, or getting more and more difficult. It's not impossible yet, but it's getting there, to distinguish between what's real and what's not. And now that you've got pastors that are being brought in and being told to get prepared for the alien disclosure. And we were at a conference a couple of years ago with L.A. Marzulli, who was talking all about this. I did a message originally about 5 years ago, but I did a remake about 3 years ago. And you can go to my Rumble and YouTube channels about the coming alien deception, Project Bluebeam. How is it that they're going to create this alien, encounter? How is it that they're going to be able to fool the entire world into believing that there are extraterrestrial beings? Well, they've got the technology that they can produce, holograms on the sky. I've seen it. In China, they've got these little bots that can create shapes and stuff like that. There was one where they had a blue whale in the sky, full size, 110 feet long, and it's moving around and everything else. Unbelievable. And you got to remember that the technology that they're showing us is probably 25 to 50 years behind what they've got in the laboratories. And if this is all Nephilim technology before the flood, they've got evidence that it was far more technologically advanced than we even have today. Nuclear weapons aren't new. They weren't created back in the 1940s with Oppenheimer. Even Oppenheimer himself, he was asked, what's it like to be the first one to create a nuclear bomb? And he said something along the lines of, well, in the modern day, inferring that there was evidence of, and they've had nuclear weapons in the past, and they've got places over in, I think it's in the Middle East, can't remember exactly where, but they've got in the desert, it's like glass. And the only thing that can produce that is the heat generated from a nuclear weapon. That's from thousands of years ago.
That's why they call it glassing when you launch a nuke, because when the nuke was launched on Nagasaki, there was a giant crater full of glass.
Mm-hmm. Because it took the sand, and that's how glass is made. It takes sand and it heats it up, and
dirt in general, like anything in the ground.
Yeah, and fuses it together. And so we're dealing in unprecedented times. And you've got technology now that is multiplying almost on a daily basis with deception. And so you want to create AI music, knock yourself out. Had it been very clear that this was AI, I'd probably still be listening to it because I really like that. I mean, I love that kind of music. But the fact that it was presented in such a way, and that there's this whole effort to be not like he's not outright lying to us, but in a way he is. Because he's, buy me a coffee and stuff like that. And, they're part of the Shunned at a Funeral universe. Okay, so what you're doing is you're creating something artificial. So,
it's called a half-truth.
Yeah, and a half-truth. See, that's how Satan works. You get 90% truth, but you got 10% lie. It's still a lie. Because Yeshua is the truth. And there's nothing artificial. He's not the author of confusion. What this guy did is it caused me confusion. And that's not godly. And so I pray that he comes to the understanding that this deceptiveness is not honoring to the Lord. So we've come to the end of our show. Thank you for joining me. And we will look forward to seeing you next week here on the Threshing Floor on Lamb Network. And if you want to buy us a coffee, I can assure you it goes to the real thing. There was one more thing I was going to mention to you, and it has completely slipped my mind.
So was it going to be like about? Do you remember the topic, subject?
No.
Oh,
that's what happened. So yes, continue to plug in, and thank you for joining us here on Threshing Floor. Shavuot Tov. And we will look forward to seeing you next week. Bye-bye.
I won't run from the crushing. I'll hold on through the pain. What I lose means nothing.
If you missed today's show, or want to watch it again, or want to tell someone where they can watch this episode, go to lambnetwork.tv, where you can find this show and all the other live Lamb Show archives in the on-demand section of the website. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to tell someone about the Messianic Lamb Network.
I just wanna be your sanctuary, a dwelling place for grace and mercy. Keep sifting me till everything is on the threshing floor.
We are richly blessed to bring you what we believe is the fullest, most diverse, yet up-to-date progressive teachings, discussions, and prayer programming you can find anywhere on this planet. Be sure to take a tour of the lamb-network.tv website. I'm Darryl Weinberg, thanking you for joining us on the Messianic Lamb Video Network.